What are you at, boys? Hello, and welcome to Tales with TR, episode 189A. Good to be back with you. I'm your host, Terry Ryan Jr. A lot of people are asking me why A and B. Well, for those just tuning in for the first time, thereabouts, I don't know. Because at the very beginning, I don't even really remember. I hate listening to myself on tape, contrary to popular belief. And it's hard for me to go back and listen to anything that I've done in the past, let alone like years, plural, in the past. So when I started this pod, I seem to remember it was going on forever. Like I'd give an intro and then I'd have a guest. And I was doing that twice a week, and that got a bit monotonous and tiring. So then I was doing the one, but it was long. So my intro would be like an hour and a half, and then I'd have a guest, I believe. And then I just thought, why not split it up? Why not come and have a little chat earlier in the week and have an interview later in the week? How am I going to do that? A and B. So I appreciate someone sent me a message the other day, congrats on 180 whatever podcasts, and it's a long time to get there. I appreciate that, but I wouldn't know what the real number is, and I don't even know when I started doing it like this, probably like number 70 or 80. I don't know. However many weeks or in a year, I do 2 a week. Been doing them for, so I don't know. I guess we're at probably 300 or more. Which it doesn't really matter, does it? How many podcasts I've had. It's easier to organize too, right? 189A, 189B. So B, by the way, I was going to have Jeremy Roenick tomorrow. I keep saying that. I went on his pod and he was like just great. And we spoke afterwards. We had lots of friends in common. I'd met him before, but this time we had a real meaningful conversation. Not that we didn't. I met him at the Moncton Hockey Heroes last year. That was at the beginning of June. And that's a great weekend. You get drafted to a local team. They bid money all year, right? They bid to get in. I think there's 20 teams, and they all raise money. If whoever raises the most gets to pick first, right down to number 20. So we all, it was a lot of mostly ex-players, not just guys, girls. That's where people think I knew Tessa a little bit, but I got to know Tessa Bonham, even though she's on Shoresy, more at Moncton than anything because we don't generally cross paths on Shoresy. She just comes in for the 1 or 2 days, does her work, and we're usually not in that scene. Well, never have been yet. So it's like RA when he comes to Shoresy, he's in there doing his thing with Tessa. I see RA, we got pictures from Shoresy set because he goes out of his way to come across town into our hotel. We'll go out for a steak dinner or whatever. Tessa lives in Ontario, so she normally just drives back. Anyway, why am I speaking? For JR. So I met him there, but there's a lot of people around, a lot of noise, and good noise, positive noise, but certainly didn't get into depth about my career or his, even though I knew most about his. But we do have a lot of good friends in common, and especially Greg Bird Dog Smith, who I've talked about here on often. So I will get JR on, but here's the reason I didn't. I told you guys I'm going to Banff. I thought Banff was this Saturday, and today I said, you know what, I keep forgetting, and I got so many messages over the last few days that my next couple of trips are buried. I know I'm going to Banff now. I know I'm going to Fort St. John, BC, February 23rd to the 25th. Right, I knew that much. Now I'm going to the NHL All-Star Game next weekend. I'm not with my fucking skates on. Let's not get carried away here. It's a nice story and everything, but no. I'm going, though, with the alumni to do some Q&A. I'm going to have my dad with me, a couple of good buddies. So I'm looking forward to that. Then the weekend after that now, I'm going to, Orlando with Penny Lane. And I was going to do that anyway, but now the Orlando Solar Bears want me to, I think, drop a puck or whatever. We're going to figure that out. But I used to play in Orlando for the Seals. It was briefly a period where it was the Seals, but we won the we won the President's Trophy, I think it was called, the Atlantic Coast Hockey League. Then it all blended into the East Coast League. But at that time, there was an East Coast League, an Atlantic Coast League, and a West Coast League. And I played in Boise and Colorado in the West Coast League, and then in Orlando in the East Coast League. Or, sorry, Atlantic. Jesus Christ. It's confusing for anybody. But then it all just blended together. Like when I played in the East Coast League briefly, there was only like 16 teams. Right now there's like, I guess, 30 or whatever. So a lot of the minor league teams just kind of amalgamated. Is that the word? I believe. So either way. And now I think that's why it's the ECHL, because there's the East Coast represented. I think they've dropped the East Coast Hockey League actual name. I think it's the ECHL. I could be wrong on all of this, but you're going to have to do your research, because I think I'm right, and I think I'm right enough not to waste your guys' time with searching it up. So anyway, yeah. So now I just found out this morning, my old teammate Tyler Gale, played with here, a good friend, moved to Alberta. Now he's a police officer. Tyler, RCMP. Tyler reminded me, he said, you're speaking on Thursday at our event. I said, Jesus, I thought I was leaving on Friday. So it's a good thing. Anyway, so I talked to the powers that be, and I'm flying out. If you're in the area, I will be in Banff pretty early. Arrive at like noon. Being in that, we're 3.5 hours ahead of Alberta. So you gain that time on the way out, which is all right. So I'm going to get a good sleep tonight, and I hope to get in tomorrow and be refreshed. And I know a lot of it's going to be a lot of Q&A and signing and things like that. And we'll all be part of we're all part of the hockey world. So if you'd like to come shoot the shit a little bit, whatever it might be, well, that's the reason I'm going. The technical reason I'm going is because I'm speaking on Thursday. I have nothing written yet whatsoever. But at this point, I could just kind of get up there and wing it, because I usually do Q&A, because some people want Montreal stories. Some people want Spit and Chiclet stories. Some like my books. Some now are going to want to talk about the Growlers. And a whole lot of people are going to want to talk about Sudbury Blueberry Bulldogs and all things Teddy Hitchcock. So in like now I've always done public speaking to some degree, but for those asking, yeah, the next like 3-4 months just filled up in the last week. You can imagine why, which is great. Looking forward to it. But the next weekend that I'm here in Newfoundland now will be well into April, if not later. So yeah, a lot on the go. But yeah, so I've often, the last one I gave would have been before Christmas, right? So I'll get up there and speak, and I might speak about Ted Hitchcock for the full hour, and then people will go like, well, what? Well, I wanted to know about like your last NHL shift, or what it was like to fight Ty Domi, or, what was the writing process, writing the book? What kind of a guy is Biz? Nasty. So, and it's hard for me. It used to be, speak about my experience in Montreal, good, bad, and ugly. And now, I guess, when things have branched out over the last few years, and especially with the last week, I know a lot of people are probably going to want to hear about the game I played with the Newfoundland Growlers. So, if you're looking to book me, book me. If you're looking to book me. What a fucking cocky comment that sounded. But I don't have a PR person, which is a bit of a problem, because I don't know where to lay the prices. I have an idea. And, the way I approach it, these are all I don't have that kind of go-getter. Like, I walk in to buy a car and I walk out and I paid more than the sticker price. I hate even charging people extra money for books that I sign. So negotiating for me to speak is probably not, it shouldn't be in my hands. It should be in somebody else's. But anyway, that's a first world problem if I've ever heard one. But anyway, if you're looking to book, if you're interested in me coming for an appearance or a golf game, or some of these are speeches, some are just like go on the ice. One guy's group is having me up, and they're raising money for their hockey team. They're going to Europe. It's a beer league team, but they're having a laugh, whatever, right? A bunch of guys in their 30s and 40s. And anyway, they're like, I said, what do you want me to do? They're like, I don't know, just come play hockey with us. Like, play hockey? I said, you got to want me to do something. They're like, nah, I don't know, read the starting lineup or something before, like, whatever. We'll figure it out when you get here. But I said, this is my price. They said, yeah, we figured as much. Fuck it. So I said, okay. Now they're going to buy a bunch of Sudbury Blueberry Bulldogs jerseys, on their own dime or whatever, and I'll sign them and do a live get. So, I mean, if it works for everybody, I'll bring a couple of old sticks, maybe a pair of skates that I used on the show or something, and auction them off. So if everybody wins, I don't mind. But anyway, yeah, it starts a long bunch of a long winter, if you would, of traveling now, which I don't mind either. Winter, as much as I love hockey, one of the reasons I love hockey is because it takes my mind off the freezing cold, man, in the winter. That's it. I know I'm Canadian. I'm proudly Canadian. I love where I come from. I love where I live. I love Canada, and more specifically Newfoundland. It's why I live here, where probably a few more opportunities, at least now, would be off the island. But my daughter's here. She loves it. It's a great place to grow up. My friends are, I can't imagine just moving somewhere like LA or something and not having my buddies. It's still bliss for me is watching tunes. There you go. Playing tunes with the boys on Friday night, going down to George Street, listen to some live music, maybe, buttering up some female acquaintances. I mean that in a good way, guys and girls come together, and who knows? I don't, you know what I'm saying. I just like my weekends, my weeks. I like living here. I like living in Newfoundland. I like living in Canada, but it's awfully cold, and the winters can be long. And it's not just the cold. It's like, it's getting better now, but fuck, there around Christmas, it's like dark. Getting dark at like 3:30. It's like pitch black at like 5. Like, what the fuck? It can be depressing. So in an ideal world, now I can do this pod from wherever, and I make a sufficient amount of money. I don't know where I'm going to go with this. I'm not the best marketer or anything. I'm certainly not well off by any means, and I really had Teddy Hitchcock was great that it came along, because I was way in the hole, like you wouldn't believe, to the tune of like 6 figures, well into. So I'm enjoying my life now. I got this small little place, and I'm going to keep it. If I got extra money in my pocket, I want to travel. And I thought about it. I'm like, I fucking hate the winter so much outside of hockey. It'd be nice to know that, say, I'd be in nice weather for like part of November or December, like 2 weeks during that time, and maybe 2 weeks now. And I thought about it. You can get Airbnb. Like, it's not that expensive, being in that I can do the pod from there, right? And I do have sponsorship money and things per podcast. So even though it comes later, I get paid by the quarter, every 3 months. But still, it's manageable, to go down there and set a certain amount. I don't need anything extravagant either. I mean, like, it wouldn't matter at all. Like a room with a bed. That's really it. As long as it's not in a slum, I'm not worried about my life. I would never go down and get something big, or like just location. Can I walk out? Is there sandy beaches around? Is there sand? Is there palm trees? Doesn't have to be palm trees, I guess, but is the weather nice? Right? Is the weather nice? That's it. Throw on shorts and slides and walk out the door and do what I'm going to do. For 2 weeks in the late fall, 2 weeks in the winter, I'm good. I don't see any reason why I can't do that. The biggest one now, I guess, would be my daughter. She can come with me for half that if she wants. It's just to know that trip's coming, to break it up a little bit. Mm. Now, the things I have on hand in the next 3 months, here's where I'll be. I'll be in, being that they're not like warm tropical places, but it's just nice to travel. Um, I'll be in Banff, then the NHL All-Star Weekend in Toronto. Then the week after that, Orlando. The week after that, Fort St. John, BC. The week after that, Halifax. One of those weekends in there, I forgot, it's Brockville. I'll be in Brockville, so stay tuned. That's outside of Ottawa, Ontario. And I'll be in Binghamton, New York, Hershey, Pennsylvania. Chicago, March 23rd, 24th, 25th. I think there's actually maybe 24th, 25th, 26th. There's a game either on the 25th or 26th, and I'm going to be there for that. What was the other one? Anyway, I forget. If you're in or around any of those places and you want a signed book, or that doesn't have to be about making money, if you just want a signature, you want to have a hockey chat, that's great. As I've often said on here, it's way easier for me and better for you if I was to meet and have a chat in person. I try to answer all my DMs, man. It gets tiring. It really, really does. Fuck another first world problem. But, I go on there, and at this point over the years, right, like people will see Shoresy and I'm probably talking to you now, or my podcast and lend some support. So I've always gotten back to those people. Even if it takes a while, like whatever, I'm a nobody. I'll get back to these people. They're nice enough to follow along. Well, when things like Shoresy then happen, and this last week, right, I realized I've opened that door to like thousands of people. So I'm not kidding you. People go, wow, weren't they just in your message requests? I haven't even touched on those yet, right? And I say, I'm nearly done. But that's what happened, right? I opened that door. So then like thousands of people were in my DMs, right? And then I get back to them. Oh, thanks, man. I hate to just go like some fucking robot. So I get back. Look, thanks a lot. Means a lot to me. Appreciate it. But then they'll get back to me. No, really? And then, so it's like this fucking cycle. So I was sitting there like with Penny and I said, I don't see how I'm going to get to the bottom of these. But people are nice enough to follow along. How do I just send them a fucking, a picture of a beer's cheersing or whatever, So it's a real like dichotomy of the mind. Is that? It's just it's a catch-22. That's a better way to put it. Because the more you answer, then the more bigger they get. And I was going to bed like with more messages than I woke up with, and it's only well wishers I get. Well, not only I had like a few hundred. You'd be surprised, man. Yeah, a few hundred going, look, good game. My daughter's selling this, or my friend has this and wants this. And yeah, man. So I started I felt bad, man. So I started to go, okay, like here's and I was like $300 or $400 in going, I can't do this to everybody that requests. I mean, I know that something great happened to me, but I can't. And they're like, well, just post it. And I said, well, I got so many requests of this. I can't just post 300 requests for fundraising, or then my whole, then my brand, or if you want to call it that, but my posts then lose integrity. Now people are pissed off, and I know that might sound selfish, but when it goes by the hundreds, it's hard, right? You just got to kind of turn that off. Maybe that's why I need someone helping me out with the PR thing. Because I just find it hard. So that's why they're hard for me. Because, I've formed these relationships with people that I've never met. And there's just a plethora of them when something nice happens. Now, this isn't a fucking complaint, really. I'm explaining to you guys more than anything because I know I'm talking to a lot of you. And now you realize why it takes so long, why I probably won't get back to you for like 2 or 3 days. So I'm asking you this. If you see that I'm in Calgary or Banff or Toronto, so this weekend I'll be in Calgary, Banff tomorrow. Then the next weekend I'm in Toronto. If you're in those areas and you're one of those people that sends me messages, fucking come down and let's have a chat. Let's have a beer or coffee or a sandwich, whatever you're into. I've reserved that time for it. I'm looking forward to it. And we both get more out of it if we do it in person anyway, right? So anyway, there's that.
We know hockey games move fast, but with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL, you can score faster than anything happening on the ice. This week, new customers can bet $5 and get $200 instantly in bonus bets. With DraftKings, you can bet on any game you want. Whether you want to bet the puck line or the over-under, DraftKings has something for everybody. And if you want, you can throw down on your favorite player as an anytime goal scorer. Or if you're looking for a long-term bet, maybe you want to predict the Stanley Cup champion. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app with promo code THPN, as in the Hockey Podcast Network. New customers bet just $5 on the NHL and get $200 instantly in bonus bets, only on DraftKings Sportsbook with code THPN. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.1800gambler.net. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas. 21 plus, age varies by jurisdiction, void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. See dkng.com/hockey for eligibility and deposit restrictions, terms, and responsible gambling resources. NHL and the NHL Shield are registered trademarks of the National Hockey League. Copyright NHL 2024, all rights reserved.
Now, a few of you asked me, I was going to answer some questions. Now, a few of you asked me the same questions came up over and over. So here, first thing. I don't know if I said this last time. If I did, I'm really sorry. But a lot of people asked me what was the hardest part about the game? The part that, and a lot of you said, what gave you the most nervous, cold shit, or what gave you the most nerves, whatever. So it was when I got out there and I had to use new gloves and a new stick because I use my true sticks. I love them. I've been using them for a few years, and I'm pretty vocal about it at the end of every show whenever anybody asks me. So I've had the true gloves and the true sticks, okay? Now, the sticks was the big thing because I used Warrior and it wasn't quite the same curve. Well, I had to. Everybody has to use them outside of like 3 exempts in the East Coast League, in the ECHL. So, yeah, like in warm-up, like the puck was it was fluttering off my stick when I stick handle. The toe was just a little bit different than my regular. And the flex felt, even though it was the same flex, it fucking felt like way whippier, right? And then I get in the room and the guys are like, yeah, that happens a lot. Some of us don't use Warrior and, they're making us do it. They're not terrible sticks by any means, but we don't use them and the puck tends to bounce off them more than I'm going, well, are you fucking serious? That's not good because every time it bounces off my stick, they're going to say it's because you're 47 years old, right? Anytime I slip my skates, if they're not sharpened the right way, which they were, thanks Gary Dowden, and Horns. So, yeah, anyway, that was it. It was, of course, I could break down all the rest of it that you've heard me talk about on Chiclets and the presser and all that. And if you want to hear the full breakdown, I guess go to Spit and Chiclets. I think I explained most of it, although I don't remember what I said because it was a whirlwind last week. A lot of buddies texted me and friends and said, it was a great job on Chiclets representing your generation and your family. And so I must have done a decent job of explaining all of it. And so if you want to hear more in depth about, how I felt and the vibe in the building, just listen to that. But the brass, what's the word? The bare knuckles of it. If you boil it all down to just the physical part and going out there and playing, it was the equipment. I don't even normally, if we play shinny, I don't wear shoulder pads. And even in senior hockey, I wear like the tiny one. Even in pro, if I was allowed, I would wear those little tiny old school like shoulder pads. Like when I played professionally, more often than not, the shoulder pads I was wearing were from the 70s. So the boys were looking at me like I had 10 heads. They're like, you're not going to wear fucking those, are you? They're from the 90s. I said, no, they're more like from the fucking 70s, right? But I just fucking hate it. I hate the big clunky ones. I figured it's one game. If I get lit up, I get lit up. I want to be comfortable. So anyway, that was probably it. What else? Okay, I got some questions on what kind of a cook or what kind of a coach Matt Cook is. And a lot of, because he played, I guess, with tenacity, because he was suspended a lot, as I recall anyway. A lot of people, a lot of their questions had a negative inflection to them, right? And I got to tell you, man, he was all right. Like, the guys like him. It's one game. But the approach I saw, he was there early. He was very cordial is the wrong word. He was matter of fact with me. And I said he put me on the ice. He didn't have to. The players seem to get great feedback from him. I don't get the sense that he's the kind of guy that comes in and loses his mind and calls people names and stuff. I don't know. He's pretty early in his coaching career. Guys, I'm sure he's going to learn a lot. But from what I saw, a very good communicator. He knows the game, of course. I mean, he played it at a high level for a long, long time. And there are players that play that way that I don't really think off the ice they might reflect that. I don't know. Maybe Brad Marchand is one. I mean, I've never been a huge fan, when he's licking faces and things, but I've warmed up to him. And he's wearing the captain for Bruins, a historic organization with lots of sane-minded team people. So, I know he says the odd. Look, yeah, I have nothing against Marchand. He'd piss me off if I played against him. I'd probably go at him. But there's lots of guys like that. Sean Avery, different. I don't really know. I want to find somewhere in my heart to like this guy. He was good to my friend BJ before BJ passed away. They were in the same organization. A few years ago, I can't remember what it was. Something happened. I don't remember. I might have posted something, but he reached out to Danielle, my ex-wife, BJ's ex-wife, and said, Danielle met him in our Adirondack, and he sent a nice message. How you doing? I hope Tyson's doing well. Whatever it was, she showed me. And it was the first time I'd seen a level of humanity to him. I don't know. I'd love to say I know the guy more. I met him at Brad Richards' golf tournament one year. He seemed okay. But, from the comment about sloppy seconds to just some of the stories I hear in the dressing room, and I'm not a huge fan, okay? I was but again, I could be wrong. So take from that what you will. I'm not an authority on that subject of Sean Avery. He appears to me to be a bit of a jackass, but I'm sure he appears that to a lot of people, and he doesn't care. And there's got to be something to be said about that, too. He's definitely I thought it was all a show at first, but it's certainly not, is it? I mean, fuck. Just given a lot of the videos that have cropped up the last few years, he's definitely the same off the ice as he was on, or similar. Take that or leave it. But Matt Cook, he just seemed to me like an ex-player who's in the early days of coaching that wants to make a career out of it and is committed to it. And I didn't hear anybody that had anything bad to say. I don't know him from Adam, so they weren't holding things back because I was there. Guys tend to like playing here, and they generally like Matt Cook. I wish I could have a better answer for you, but it was only one game. And yeah, the guy seemed like a true professional. I got the same question about Adam Pardy, who's the assistant coach. Now, Pards I do know. Now, me and Pards hang out in the summer. We're often not talking hockey. You know what I mean? Like, I've known him a long time, as I know the rest of the guys I mentioned on the team. James Melindy, they're cut from the same cloth. D-men that came from the Quebec League. Adam really turned it on. I don't remember Adam. I knew who he was because I watched locally, and he was big locally. But Adam Pardy, I don't think left here with people expecting him to have such a long NHL career. I mean, he really came into his own as he got older. I would say late bloomer, I suppose. But if you knew Pards growing up and you watched him, he was already really good. I think just national attention and then like making the National Hockey League. I'm not going to say I expected it. It definitely didn't surprise me. It definitely didn't surprise me. No. And, he's a true professional as well. A lot of people don't realize Adam Pardy came back here and played the first year the Growlers played, the Newfoundland Growlers, team I just played for, right? 18-19, I believe it was. So it's 5 years now. But they won it, right? They won it that first year. And Pardy was on the team. I don't think if he wasn't living here and the Growlers didn't exist, he wouldn't be flying all over to play in the ECHL. I think he did the hometown team a favor. It was nice to play here, and he did a great job. So much so that they won the championship, and Pards get into, coaching now, but there's a few years there. I believe he was in management. He was doing a few other things around, like locally. Just a great person all around. And Pards, you could be in the room with Pards for 3 hours, and if you're not like bringing up hockey, you would never know that he played in the NHL. He wouldn't bring it up. Very, I won't say like ultra quiet, but definitely quieter than me, and is as down to earth as a human gets, NHL or not. Okay, another question. TR, do you think Zach O'Brien is going to make the NHL? Zach's a little old now, guys. It wouldn't have surprised me if he did. He's still got some of the best hands around. He's one of the best offensive players in the history of Newfoundland hockey. There's no doubt. I wish I had his mitts. For those that don't know, look it up. Zach played 4 years in the queue, and I think he led it the last year, came real close. And he only had 2 penalty minutes in all those years. Now, I used to get on him, but penalty minutes aren't as big a part of the game really now, so that's probably a bonus. He did play in the American League. He does have a Calder Cup. Like, he won a championship in the American League on Biz's team. A lot of people don't realize that. Manchester. He's playing here on a deal with the... Look at last year when Zach got called up to the Marlies. I believe he had like a point a game. Right? He could be playing in the A. He started overseas. Now, he gets a good deal here at home, I believe. He likes playing in front of hometown fans. But Zach O'Brien is not an ECHLer. He's a top-tier European player or an American leaguer at minimum. And I think with the odd break here and there, I do think. But the thing about Zach, he's definitely playing on the first 2 lines. He's not like Clark Bishop, another guy from here, or Ryan Clough, legend from here, or Danny Cleary, who left as scorers but adapted, and there was an element to their game that was desirable for a third or fourth line. I don't see that with Zach. But with Zach, I will say, take all those guys, and with no disrespect to them, Zach is at least as offensive. Like, this guy's fucking lights out. I played ball hockey with him for years, on high-level stuff. Like, we lost in the final fucking 5 times. I got 6 silvers. Zach was on 5 of those in the summertime. Zach skates with us all summer. I've watched him since day one. He was one of the leading scorers in Newfoundland when he was 17. They went to like the TELUS Cup final, the midget Canada, like unheard of for Newfoundland. Look at his numbers. Just his offensive output is fucking mesmerizing. The guy, we skate in the summer, man, they all come back. And if you're talking pure offense, then there's not much better than Zach. I don't know. Teddy Purcell, Harold Druken, with no disrespect to all the great Newfoundland hockey players. And guys like Tony White in the 70s had 30 in the fucking NHL, man. Or 28, was it, Tony? So I'm not downplaying any of that. It's fucking fantastic. Ryan Clough has way underrated hands. You guys wouldn't believe how good his hands are. You really wouldn't. I think you'd probably expect it with Teddy Purcell, but Ryan Clough, you'll think of him as a meat and potatoes, 2-way grind. Yeah, he did that because he was a team guy and he knew what it took to win. But Ryan Clough, holy fuck, his hands. Lights out. Well, Zach is up there like that. Jordan Escott, lights out hands, right? The boys just didn't have that. And Jordan's down there now playing on the third and fourth line as a left winger. I love it. I mean, there's my story, and then look up this guy. He just walked on last year with the Growlers. This is his second year with them. He played 10 years of senior. Now, we all knew he could have gone and could have turned pro in 2013. He chose not to. He's got a company back here that's very successful. But there's another one. Now, I don't think he has that element that Cleary, Clough, Clark Bishop, Colin Greening is another one. Left home as a scorer, played a decent little career in the NHL. Two-way, right? Hit, play defensively if he has to. Drop the mitts. Wasn't the biggest thing, but Ryan Clough dropping the mitts. Watch out. Watch out. He fight the heavyweights and do well. But anyway, there's just a few of our Newfoundland players that have come out. So whoever asked that, forget your name and just take it from me. Zach is one of the best. And if he wasn't on the Newfoundland Growlers in some crazy world where he got traded to Rapid City or something, I believe he'd just go back and play overseas or, give another shot at the American League or whatever. But he's definitely good enough for a higher level. There's no doubt about that. Some people wondering what the attendance is like here in the ECHL in Newfoundland. It's pretty good, man. It's pretty good. Like, there's definitely the odd sellout because I go to a lot of the games, and one recently was sold out. And even the game that I played, it was a Sunday, and it was close to a sellout. And I'm sure I brought some people in, but it wouldn't have been a ghost town. No, like we have a good. What often happens, right? The teams come in for 3 games at a time. So by the Sunday game, not only is it Sunday, by nature, a day that a lot of people don't attend hockey, but it's the third of 3 against the same team. So it might get a little tiring or whatever, but often one of the first 2 games are a sellout, and we always have a good following. There's a buzz around town. You're downtown in the bars or whatever. How are the boys doing? Is Adam Daw playing tonight? Is how's Skirving doing? Is he? He's Skirving, my good buddy too, not from here, but from Ontario, Todd Skirving. You'll get a buzz like that in Newfoundland, like a little on a relative level, like not unlike you'd see in the NHL, right? Certainly not a buzz like Austin Matthews would get on a game day going for the record in Toronto, but if Zach O'Brien is on a point streak or Todd Skirving's looking for his 20th goal, or, there might be a little bit of a buzz downtown or in and around town about that, right? That's the kind of city we got here. So when it comes to supporting hockey, I don't remember even, someone asked me about the attendance. And the jerseys. A lot of people are asking me where they can get a Ryan Growlers jersey by. I don't know. You'd probably have to email the Growlers. I don't have anything to do with that. I think it's as easy as ordering a Growlers jersey and getting the letters printed on there, embroidered on there. So as far as the guest, I don't know. Again, guys, I was going to have JR tomorrow, and now I'm flying out to go to Alberta. But I'm going to take my computer, and I'll be there all day tomorrow, and then all day Thursday, and I'm not leaving till like afternoon on Friday. So I'm going to have a great guest for you, I promise. I just don't know who it's going to be yet. But thanks for tuning in once again to everybody that's been following for the last little bit. It's been a whirlwind in my life, but one that I welcome with open arms. And it's been a lot of, well, of course, it's been a lot of fun. More than anything, it's that positive vibe of talking to some ex-teammates that I haven't talked to in a long time. That if there was a favorite part of all this, it was like getting reconnected with people that I just never, ever thought that I would come across again, right? And a lot of them aren't on social media. But guys on social media and girls I've been reconnected with for years. That's one thing. But, people might have seen the story on CBC National or whatever and found out my email through somebody, or maybe called one of my buddies and sent a message through them. Anyway, I'll that has been awesome. That part of the ride has been awesome because I'm an only child, and each and every teammate, some more than others, but felt like a brother, right, at some point. So it's nice to hear from them. Some people that were very important in my life, talk to every day for the year we played together, and then you just lose touch, especially in this day and age of less phone calls and more social media DMs. And if you don't have social media, well, it ain't easy being a cheesy. Now, a lot of you asked, last question, what book I'm reading? Humans, A Brief History of How We Fucked It All Up by Tom Phillips. I'm holding it up now if you're on YouTube. I'll be done that by the time I get back from Banff. It's the second time through. It's a great read. And it's a look at history that's entertaining. It doesn't feel like you're taking a history course in university or being bored to death by some lecture in high school. It's it's just a great read, and you'll learn something in the process. Thanks for listening. If you're downtown St. John's, Newfoundland, you want to have a beer, go to the Bull and Barrel. Go to Trinity Pub, try TJ's Pub. Why not Rob Roy Confusion? Why not the Martini Bar or Greensleeves Pub? And of course, if you're going to have a bite to eat, try it at Merchant Tavern, Blue on Water, or Loose Tie. Loose Tie is up and coming as one of the best restaurants in Atlantic Canada. Check it out for yourself. Peter Wedgwood, Wedgwood Cafe, Elizabeth Avenue. They also do catering. Peter Wedgwood. Check it out. If you're looking to get an oil change, 2 locations for Mr. Lube in St. John's, Newfoundland. One is on Kemmett Road, one's on Torbay Road. Live, laugh, lube. Power Conditioning, Rope Walk Lane. Strength and balance for the body and mind. Ryan Power, Power Conditioning. Check it out. Pitbull Pain Relief, the pain sticks that just don't quit. PitbullPainRelief.com. Check it out. See what all the fuss is about. And of course, True Hockey, take what's yours. Thanks to my friends at True Hockey, Corey Gregory. And thanks to you guys for tuning in. I'll be back in just a couple of days with another great guest and some more Tales with TR. Thanks again. Catch you on the rebound.